Hi guys, I'm Maria Brown. Welcome back. Well, late summer means apple season, and I'm going to make an apple pie to bring to a friend's house tomorrow. Come on, let's go get started. If it's hot and humid where you are, crank up your air conditioning because pie crust does not like humidity. If it's really hot there, even stick your container into the refrigerator and chill that all so everything's cold. Here we're going to start with 2 cups of flour, 1/2 a teaspoon of salt, 1½ sticks of unsalted butter. Make sure it's unsalted because it's got a different consistency. 3 tablespoons of chilled margarine or shortening. I just keep my shortening or margarine right in the freezer. And then you also need 1/4 cup of ice water. This is cold water, that's 1/4 cup. And then to my 1/4 cup of water, I add ice. So the first thing we're going to do is start by adding the 2 cups of flour and the salt, and we're just going to pulse this for a minute. Now to that, we're going to add our butter. I've cut it into little bits and pieces. Spread that around. You're also going to add your margarine or your shortening. Spread that around a little bit. Now remember, this has all been chilled. Everything's cold. Now take a look at that. You see how it's like a chunky flour? That's ready. The next thing we're going to do is add the water. We're going to add the ice water a little bit at a time until it forms a ball. Take a look at that. See how it's formed a ball? Now we're going to turn this out and chill it for at least an hour. I turned mine out onto parchment paper. And I also flattened it out a little bit, but I used the rolling pin. It'll just make it easier for me to be able to roll it out later. Try not to touch it with your hands because the heat will get to it and pie crust needs to be cold. And now I'm going to chill it for at least an hour. I've got a 9-inch pie plate. And when you cook apples, they're going to cook down. So my recommendation is to use at least 8 or 9 apples. My pie crust has been chilling for an hour, so I just took it out of the refrigerator. This is enough for a double crust pie, but I don't like to use the 2 crusts on the pie because 1, I think it looks prettier if you can see the fruit, and 2, you save calories. So I'm just gonna cut, I'd say that's about 1/3 of this off because I want to be able to have the crust from the bottom hang over. When I put the fruit in, I'm going to flip that over. And it's going to contain it along the edges, but it's not going to be completely a second pie crust. So I'm going to remove about 1/3 of this and put that back into the refrigerator. And this, I'm going to roll out. Sprinkle a little flour on your work surface. You're gonna need a little flour for your rolling pin. Put this right in the middle, and you're just going to keep rolling it out thin. You want a thin crust, just about 1/8 of an inch thick. At this point, go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Once you have it rolled out, just put it into your pie plate and put it back in your refrigerator until your apples are peeled and cut. Now take out your pie crust again. Pour your apples right into your pie plate. Make sure you get them around the sides. Pile them up high. We're going to sprinkle the apples with the peel of 1 lemon and the juice of 1 whole lemon, 1/2 cup of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. When you are taking the lemon peel, only take the bright yellow part. Don't take the white because the white is a little bit bitter. Just keep sprinkling that on. Then we're going to take the juice from this lemon and put that on as well. Now we're going to dot this with 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Okay, here I flipped up the sides, give it a little press. Just push that down. These apples are going to melt down and you're going to see those spaces. There's one more thing I'm going to do because it is fall. I'm going to make a couple of leaves to put on top with the leftover pie crust, and then we're putting this baby in the oven. You can just go and pick a leaf from a tree from outside and just wash it and then put this down on your dough and just use that as a guide for cutting out. It does not need to be perfect. If you want to get super fancy, just lightly touch down on the top of it, imitating those veins, the little tiny veins in it. Does anybody notice this? I do. Okay, now we're going to pop this in the oven for about 45 to 50 minutes. We'll keep an eye on it. We want to make sure that the crust is brown and that the juices are bubbling. Look at that bubbling over. That's why I put the pan underneath it. That's beautiful. Just look at that beauty. If you got anything out of that, give me a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. Until next time, I'm Maria Brown. Thanks for watching.
This day is so much more than what I bargained for. Oh, you know it's so good. This day is feeling like every day should. Hey, yo, I'm telling you all, days like this are what life's worth living for.